Recording in progress. Hello, everybody. It is June 2nd, 2026, and the weather is 26 degrees, a high of 29, and a low of 12. Well, where have I been? I have taken a break since the last episode that I've done. It seems like it's been a while. It feels like it's been a couple of months. I decided to kind of break and just reframe, recalibrate, go from there. And everything has been good so far. But yeah, so I will definitely have some guests popping up on the show in the future here. Super excited for that. So stay tuned for that. And I tend to take a look at everything going on in my life and self-reflect. And one of the things that I was looking at is to create the future, what is it to go forward and not create from the past? So what I mean by that is, there a lot of relationships have to do with you know, how things affect me or my experiences going forward and how I can like move on from that. But I also looked at like if I were to create something like the future or create my life, create my business, it might not look like using the examples of the past in order to go forward. So it's like if I had experienced every single thing, it's not like looking at the minutia of every single event that happened and then creating something out of it or having that affect me. It's like, what if we were looking at the future and not quite dragging everything behind, which could be completely irrelevant to our future that we want to create anyways? Because like I'll still probably touch on what has happened or how I have viewed certain relationships or, what my connection to the earth is and how I create with that and everything. But it's like I've gone through quite a bit in this past couple of years, and it's like I looked at creating from that, and it could be different as to like create something not from that. I've been looking at phenomenology. It's been an interesting read. It took me like forever to read the book, um, Cracking the Nazi Code. So that's what I'm doing with this book. It's called Spirit of Phenomenology. So it's probably going to take me a while to read because I read a couple of pages today and it's so wordy. I get the gist of it, but yeah, anyways. Um, I've also noticed with the thanks to my awareness and the tools of access consciousness, it's taken me till now to play around with wanting a relationship, not wanting a relationship, and seeing things for what they are. And it kind of makes it easier when I can see things for what they are. It's not taken quite too seriously as everyone takes everything so seriously. And I say that because lately I've been looking at what has been showing up and what I have been choosing. And it's always like, here's the thing. I know that I've talked about cheating on past podcasts, and I think the notion of it can be devastating and heartbreaking when somebody thinks that their partner could never cheat on them, would never think of it, never do it. But if you have listened to my past episodes, or if you've ever chatted with me about it, the thing is that a secret is a secret for a reason, and a lie is a lie for a reason. And people love to lie and they love to have their secrets, or else this would not exist. And I am willing to see what people have the capacity to do, would choose. Uh, and that doesn't always look perfect. I think a lot of people like to blind themselves to their own perception of what they think should happen. Whereas I would look at it like, okay, what do you think is going on here? Because a lot, like relationships, people put themselves in relationships and base a lot of their life on it. But if we were actually willing to kind of take a step back, choose what is for us and work from there and not give ourselves up to relationship, our lives might look a lot different. What I looked at recently was there were a couple of people in my life where I spent a lot of time with, like every single day for seasons. And I looked at how I felt when I was with them. So I did not have a lot of energy. I dedicated a lot of my time to them. I felt like I got hit with a Mack truck. I wasn't as happy. I was worried. I was sad. All of these things that look like a negative and were a drain on my life. Um, and then when I was not with these people, I felt lighter, happier, way more expansive and free. So it's like, and now I look at where I'm at in dating and relationship, and it's like, it doesn't look the way I think that it will. And I'm actually quite enjoying kind of what's going on. It's not that easy, but it's also like, I look at what's going on now and it's like, okay, what's happening right now kind of works. But I also believe in constantly shifting and changing and creating, which means like right where I'm at right now, I don't think it's going to last forever. I think things will get better and greater, but what I'm doing right now is completely different from what I have done in the past. So it's like not being needy, not wanting to spend all my time with the person, not having expectations, listening to what the person says. Really listening to what someone says is important because if it's funny because if you think that if you have like a conclusion or you say, well, in my thoughts and opinions, you said you would text me every day, but the person's like, well, no, I never said that. I said I just kind of wanted to keep in touch. I'm lucky to have friends that I do talk with every day. And for a relationship, it is completely different. Relationships are just, it's almost like if you're dating one person, it's like trying to herd kittens, even though it's just one person. So can you imagine dating more people? I know that there are people who are polyamorous, but I'm not one for that, so I will not speak on it. I kind of see how it works or it doesn't work. But yeah, let's see here. But yeah, so I have looked at what it would take to change and what change looks like and what I'm willing to change in regards to relationships. So again, that was like not having an expectation, not trying to be like not being needy and not like um having conclusions and expectations. So it's kind of relaxing and focusing on myself and doing what I would like to do. But even then, um I took a break on this podcast. I took a break on business. I took a break on facilitating. I focused on other things. And, it's been interesting to have that time. But now I'm kind of looking at, okay, now that I've kind of recalibrated, what is it that what can I be or do and choose different going forward is what I look at. I haven't been it's funny because with my life adjusting, it's like everything that I used to like before is changing. So it's like I look at my time and it's like, okay, if I could do anything, what would it be? If I had all the time in the world, what exactly would I do? What is fun for me? The other night I went out and I know a lot of good places in the city. And when we went out, it was a lot of fun. And it's funny, a lot of DJs were playing really good music. But I also like to converse. I mean, I have a podcast, I have a business, and I love to go out and chat. One time my friend flipped out and was like, all you do is talk. And it's like, well, I believe that sometimes through conversation, things can change and can lead your life in a different direction with great conversations. I believe that can create a lot in this world. Um, but yeah, I looked at like, where we're going in this world, and I noticed that a lot of people could not hold a conversation. They did not know how to talk. They did not know how to start a conversation. They were too afraid to talk. They would kind of flip out and run away when, there was presence and space. And it was kind of funny because I just I took a step back and I was like, what's going on here? So I looked at like the whole scenario, and people literally looked like, I don't know, wild animals in a zoo. Because in a normal zoo, I don't know if the animals are sedated or they're kept in like cages, but they're not moving. They're not frolicking everywhere. But in the city, in these events and venues, people were just their body language was sporadic. It was crazy. It was like no one was communicating. Like obviously it's a party scene. So, people are on substances, not a wrongness, but I was like, oh wow, like I wonder, where in this world can you find a place to have a great conversation and make a meaningful connection? Because even on dating apps, it's like I find that there's a lot of fake accounts, a lot of people trying to get stats for their like for their business or for their studies. Tons of scammers, tons of people probably harvesting and farming data and getting information and doing all these crazy things. So dating apps aren't that great, but I also look at like, I mean, a lot of people would mention before they're like, hey, go on Meetup or whatever and go to events and meet people. And it's like, well, that's always boring too. I've done that. And I don't know, I didn't find it useful really. So it's like there are also energy pulls as well to pull for exactly what you would like to create. And I mean, maybe I should do more of that because I find that when I ask for something to show up, eventually it does, but it could take time. And it's like, okay, well, what will this look like? Like I've been able to pull in some very interesting jobs. I've been able to pull in some interesting revenue streams and different relationships. And to me, it's like things keep getting greater and greater and better and better. How are we living our lives? What is it that we would like to create? Like, are we looking at what is possible, or are we constantly stuck in a rat race or a conclusion or something that keeps us spinning in circles and never changing? Because one of the things that I looked at the other night was change. And what is it to really live? Like what would it be like to live? And it was funny because in those 2 nights, I went to sleep at 5 a.m. like on the weekend. And I was like, oh, interesting. Like, what is it to really live? I do like the dawn. I love seeing the before the sun comes up, the sky changes and the colors are beautiful. And then, eventually the sun comes up hours after. I think it was actually 4:30 a.m., like close to 4 a.m. The colors of the sky were changing. But anyways, I know I had mentioned the topic of cheating, and I think that before when I had chatted about it, it kind of glazed over, kind of like, uh, did you guys hear that? I have no idea what that sound was, but there was some sort of sound in the background. That's scary. Okay, well, whatever. Okay. Well, if there's a ghost joining in on the podcast, let's just hope it's friendly. But anyways, okay. So the whole I mean, you know what's funny? As soon as I started chatting about cheating, this what is that sound? Okay. There is a sound coming up as I talk about cheating. That is okay. And what I was saying was is that I feel like I glazed over it and didn't quite take the time to acknowledge for those who have been cheated on that it can be hard and it's not that easy and it can kind of fuck up the trust for the future. But, if you are able to process, I don't know what that sound is, but I'm just going to ignore it. There's nothing behind me, there's nothing in this room, but there's a sound. Okay. If you have like the capacity to, move on and process your emotions and look at it for what it is, and maybe look at the fact that maybe you were aware of it before it even happened, that can help you to move forward and heal. So it's like, okay, so when somebody cheats, when your partner, or if they have, when you've been cheated on, when did you know? When did you have the sensation, the awareness, or the feeling that you knew that your partner was cheating? When did the relationship end and who left? When did they leave? When did you leave? When did the relationship end? And then it's like, how do you actually feel? Are you heartbroken? Are you sad? Are you angry? Those are completely relevant emotions to feel. Like, I don't think that there's one person who wasn't sad when their partner cheated. And for me, it like there were a lot of people that have cheated. And it's not the nicest feeling whatsoever. But I also looked at the fact that I knew. So was there some relief? Was there like the fact that you knew that that was happening? There was one at one point, I knew my partner was cheating on me. This was like years ago. And I looked at it and I said, okay, I know they're cheating, and I'm going to try to let be an allowance of this. So I kind of went against myself because I knew that I didn't like being cheated on, but I was like, you know what? If I know this is happening, maybe I can just be okay with it, that they didn't do what they're doing. But I kind of went against myself and my morals, beliefs, and values because I was allowing them to do this without talking about it, without even bringing it up. Even though eventually I did bring it up, but of course they denied it. But the thing is that it hurt me a lot and it crushed me to know that they were cheating and to just try and like let it be. It just did not work for me. It's kind of like when you make a verbal agreement with somebody, it's like, okay, so are we monogamous? Are we together? Are we in a relationship? I think that relationships and sex are definitely a conversation. And when one party can't hold up to their end of the bargain, it's like you can reframe it, you can break up with them, you can talk about it, whatever. At least there is that. Like you can have the awareness, the perception, the knowing, you can have the conversation, you can end it. You have to really take a look at what's going to work for you. So, with the whole cheating conversation, it's like, okay, well, when do you know? How do you let go? And do you break up with the person? And are you okay with that person doing what they're doing? I wonder how some people do it with that pit in their stomach. I knew someone who knew that their significant other was cheating on them. And when I said, "Well, I don't want to meet that person because they're not treating you very nicely and you seem upset. And I don't know, I just don't want to meet that person. They stopped talking to me. That friendship ended. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I mean, maybe it was perceived as me not supporting them, but I was like, well, I don't think it's fair. And I just don't think I want to meet someone who's unkind. I don't like if I know someone is not doing nice deeds or is an unkind person, I for the most part do not want to meet them. But in the past couple of years, I've decided, okay, well, you can't avoid every single asshole on the planet. Maybe I'll go through and meet this person. Like, I can't bubble wrap myself from every single unkind, mean demon on this planet. There are fucking demons and assholes everywhere, So it's like, you know, um, but also, this can go so far, this conversation in regards to safety, because, if your partner is like looking at it realistically, you got to ask the question, if I sleep with this person, will I get an STD or an STI? Would I like to sleep with this person? Like there's relationship and then there's sex, copulation, sensuality, and all these other things. So it's like you have to be aware with these things. Like, asking a question is very important. Like, would I like to be in a relationship with this person? Would I like to sleep with this person? Will it be fun? Like asking questions will give you that awareness. And some people just go against their knowing. It is. I wonder what that sound is. There's something making a sound, and I cannot figure it out for the life of me. Yep. There's nothing in this room that would be making a sound like that, but that is okay. See, one of the things we do is we go against what we know, or we go against our own beliefs and morals and what's going to work for us. Imagine if we never did that. You know, we would probably be considered evil or terrible or whatever. I look at what's going on in my life and I'm like, hey, is this working for me? Yes, there are some aspects that are working for me. And no, sometimes it's a bit difficult. So, what would I like next? How can I change this? What else can I ask for? But yeah, that whole cheating thing, I find it very interesting because there's always an awareness with it. There's always a question. The awareness is okay, is this person? And then feel okay. So let's just take an example scenario. You've got two people. You've got I don't know, two people, a man and a woman together, and they're married or they're in a long-term committed relationship. Let's just say they track each other on GPS, they text every single moment of the day, they call each other, they talk to each other, they either visit each other or live with each other. There's all these scenarios where everything could be all in this relationship at once. One person travels, they live together, they have different places where they live, like they have their separate apartments, different houses, you know, and like if they're together and the deal is that they'll be monogamous, then it's like, are you willing to see that the woman could be talking to somebody else? Having a cushion. Do you know what a cushion is? A cushion is when somebody takes another person, like a friend or someone they're talking to be the next relationship, but they're kind of just chatting here and there and waiting for their current relationship to end so that that they have a cushion so that when the breakup happens, they can move on to the next person easily. That's a cushion. But like, let's just say, would the man be willing to look at the possibility that his girlfriend or wife is potentially connecting with somebody else, sleeping with somebody else, building an emotional relationship with somebody else? And like, and then you look at the opposite. Is the woman willing to see that this man could have, I don't know, a double life, a mistress, another girlfriend? Or is it this unspoken truth and the way life is where men are allowed to have their mistresses? But it's, oh, it's such a bad thing if a woman goes out and has her own, you know, affair. So this is something that has been going on forever. And I think that if you have an initial instinct and awareness that the person could be cheating, you have to be able to look at that and see, is that true? I went out a couple weekends ago and somebody was talking to me. But what they were saying to me was, if I was single, oh, I'd be taking you home. I'd be all over you. I just want to fill in the blank. Like, I just want to be with you. I just want to kiss you. I want to just do everything with you and to you. Meanwhile, they had a partner. And it was funny because their partner came up to me and said, "Hey, have they been good?" And I looked at the partner and I was like, I don't know, define good." And going forward that night, it was very clear to see that this person liked to have these mini affairs out in public with people and do things behind their partner's back. And it was very interesting to see because I'd never been put in that situation before. And so therefore, I believe that this person will be doing that with not just not just one time and not just with one person. Sometimes what it looks like, so let's talk about the cheater. What it kind of looks like is the person likes attention. They love attention. They could be insecure and they have a need and a want and love the deviousness, the drama, maybe feeling bad, maybe they're trying to get back at their partner for something, for making them feel a certain way, or for like some sort of argument they had beforehand. So the person who cheats, like we're talking full on cheats, we're talking like keeps a secret, goes behind their back, wants to copulate, like have sex with somebody else, doesn't give a flying fuck about their partner, and keeps the secret and lies about it. We're talking about that type of a cheater. We're not talking about communication. We're talking about, I'm going to go and fuck whoever I can. And why would somebody do that? Well, maybe they're not having their needs met at home. That could be the number one thing. You look at what is that? There's like a TV. Oh yeah, the TV show Working Moms where the husband goes and has an affair. He's like, "Well, you weren't giving me what I needed." Fair enough. And kept the secret and lied about it. So, anyways, there is also the insecurity and the need and want for attention, but there's also just the choice of it too. They could think it's fun. They could think that they like to be bad, like they like the idea of being bad and getting away with it, or having the trauma drama come up, or hurting somebody, or getting back at them, or being the other woman. There could be a thrill and excitement, and it could just be a choice. And now I'm not here to, gather our pitchforks and go and chase down cheaters. That's not it. Because, I mean, I can't say that I've ever cheated on anyone in my life but if anything, I've been the person that people cheat on. And that maybe why I'm chatting about it. But there are tons of reasons as to why people do this. And it could be the thrill and excitement, but also, those people do not think about what could happen and how there's like, do they have the empathy to think about the partner who loves them and would never cheat on them? You know, And then we get into this scenario where the person who is faithful, they either break up with them or they stay. And I'm always surprised when I've seen my friends in the past break up and leave because I see so many people stay. And it's like, okay, well, that's just a choice too. But it's like in this conversation, it's like if you were living the life that you would truly like to have with benevolence and joy and happiness, what would that look like? How would your life look if you were choosing for you instead of choosing for somebody else? I'm not saying that those people who cheat are the devil or terrible, awful, or mean or nasty, but that topic and the act and the actions and the arguments and the tears and the fights and everything, that's not pretty. It can be pretty ugly. So it's like, you know, if you look at this, it's like, how do you process this? What do you do to deal with these situations? Are you the person that just kind of lets it go? Well, for me personally, first came the awareness. And in some cases, I just kind of ignored it. And then when the truth came around, I was like, oh. And in one case, in the first person who ever cheated on me, I was so over them that I could not give a fuck. I could not give a fuck. I was like, oh. And the person was like, you probably never want to speak to me again, do you? And I was like, nope, I'm good. And they were like, oh, okay. So that happened. But anyways, I'm going to end this podcast here pretty soon. And then there were times when I knew that I was being cheated on and I was like, okay, like, and then I didn't follow that awareness or ask a question and I stayed with them for a little bit longer. And then I was like, oh, okay, like it's time to break up because this really is not a relationship that is desirable because of how this person is acting and what is going on. So for me, so personally for me, it may have taken me a little bit to for it to sink in or for me to realize or to make an action, but I if something didn't work for me in life, I'd call it quits. Or we would go separate ways, or there would be a breakup or whatever it is. So I would rather not hold on to something that does not work for me. I'd rather let it go. And no matter, like, so whether that person broke up with me or I broke up with them or for whatever reason, there was a breakup. The breakups can suck, but how do you feel afterwards? It's kind of like the job that you don't want and you either get fired or you quit or you just don't go back to the job. But then you think it's like the end and it's over and it's like, oh my God, I'll never get another job like that again or whatever it is, or relationship like that. It's like, yeah, but with all the possibilities in this world, would you rather see what could work for you instead? Now, the healing part, that is a total journey for yourself. You could take some time to yourself. You could process, you could clear things out. You could, take some different courses, classes, work out, make some new friends, date some new people. It could take time. It takes time to date more people. When I look at dating, I always kind of think that it could take like I might date one person a year, as opposed to some people date one person a day. Every single day they're on a date. And I'm like, oh, how do you do that? No. But yeah, so anyways, it's like if you're listening to this podcast and you're wondering, well, what's the answer? Like, how do I deal with this? Or what is the answer to, healing this or stopping this or being aware? Well, I would say be aware, make a choice, ask a question, see what you would like to do and what works for you, like, you know. And then for the healing part, it's like, okay, well, it's still again asking a question because you yourself, you have a body. So it's like, what would you like to choose? What would you like to do, have, create, and generate? Like, for me, physical activity is pretty big. Like, so, you know, if you've just broken up, what are the things that you stopped doing before you were in a relationship that you really enjoyed? And what do you love to do? Do you like going for walks, runs, jogs, biking, like cycling? Do you like going out boating? Do you like going camping? Are your friends still around? Like, what are your friends up to? Do you like to go see movies? Do you like to travel? Like all these things, right? And then the healing part could be like, well, I always recommend, there's professional services out there. Go see a counselor, go talk to somebody, chat with your friends and family, journal, like all these things. Like everyone, I think by this day and age, if you don't have an idea of how to heal yourself, because I find the market flooded with life coaches, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, X, whatever platform out there has that niche for self-improvement, self-development, uh, like life coaching, positive affirmations, like whatever it is out there that works for you, go for it. But yeah, anyways, that is my conclusion for this episode. Stay tuned. I know it's been a while. Like I can't remember the last time I did an episode. Summer's coming along. I'm definitely planning on picking up on some more episodes here and inviting really cool people to my podcast. I'm just looking around to see what this sound could be. I will figure it out. It's something in here, but I can't see exactly what it is. But anyways, thank you very much for joining in on this podcast. If you have any questions, feel free to send them in. If you'd like to hear a certain topic, write in. If you'd like to join the podcast, if you have a topic you'd like to talk about, let me know. But yeah, stay tuned. Um, would I create a podcast that would be scheduled? That may happen. Um, Again, let me know what you guys would like to hear, and we can go from there. All right. Okay, guys. Love you lots, and we'll see you soon.